everyone, welcome to Cooking Beautifully. What are you cooking today? Robin, I have to tell you one thing.
What's up?
Would you believe I've never ever had a homemade peanut butter and jelly?
What? Never?
Never.
It's an American classic. You have to have one at least once.
Okay, would you make me one?
Yeah, I think we can find a way to kind of blend a little of you and your Asian flair and a little bit of my American twist to it. I think we can come up with something cool.
Okay, cool. So
Let's get started.
yeah, let's get started.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find a way to take a super basic peanut butter and jelly and kind of amp it up a little with some Asian ingredients. And then also my secret to a really good peanut butter and jelly is to put it in a pan and griddle it like a grilled cheese. So the outside gets crispy and the inside is gooey and it's awesome. So first what we wanna do is we wanna take our bread and cut off the crusts. And when you're cutting bread, you really wanna use any kind of serrated knife because that will help not smash and smush your bread. So we're cutting off the crusts because what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually roll it out with a rolling pin and make these little peanut butter and jelly pockets like the old school ones you used to get in the freezer section. And that's how we're gonna really take this sandwich to the next level. So we cut off all the crusts and then we're gonna use a rolling pin. Melissa has this fancy little ribbed one that's gonna make designs in it.
Yeah.
And what you wanna do is you wanna kind of press down pretty good on it. You wanna use a little pressure because you wanna make that bread nice and flat. And that's what's gonna give us a really crispy outer layer. So I'm gonna keep rolling the rest of our bread and Melissa is gonna tell you about some of the unique Asian ingredients that we're using to really amp up this peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, so this is not an average toast that you can get in any supermarket. This one is a like Japanese milk bread. And like, Robin, how would you describe the texture of Japanese milk bread?
It's sort of like a Japanese white bread almost. It's like their version of our classic white bread, but it's even fluffier and softer than our Wonder Bread. It's like their version of Wonder Bread, but even better.
And I would describe, I myself think the flavor is actually milkier,
Yeah,
creamier.
you definitely get the dairy more than a classic white bread.
Yes, absolutely. So, if I'm going to make peanut butter and jelly, I would definitely prefer Japanese milk bread. I also have some miso and I have some peanut butter. So there are different kinds of miso. There's white miso, red miso, yellow miso. And to be honest, you can use any of them. You need to tweak the amount. If you use red miso, that's so much more salty. So you probably just put tiny bit. And if it's white miso, because white miso was fermented for a shorter period of time, it's sweeter, less saltier. And what you want to do is you just simply want to add those to your miso and you combine them.
So you're putting the miso into the peanut butter?
Yes, I am.
So adding the miso to the peanut butter, I don't think you'll really be able to say, oh wow, I'm eating miso in this. But the miso is such a savory, salty flavor that it'll really take that peanut butter and just bring it to the next level, which is kind of what we're doing with this sandwich anyways. We're taking something that everybody loves and saying, how can I make this even better, a little more interesting, give it a little intrigue. You want someone to eat it and say, I know I'm tasting something different in this, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think the miso here, it's just more like a hint,
Yeah, it takes the peanut butter and just amps it.
Absolutely.
So you want your peanut butter to be room temperature so that you have an easier time mixing it in. Ours is still a little bit stiff. A lot of natural peanut butters will have the oil separate from the peanut layer, and that kind of makes it a little stiffer. So here's another point where Melissa's gonna show us her exemplary biceps, and she's gonna mix our peanut butter.
Yeah, I do work on regular basis.
We also have our jelly. I prefer strawberry, that's my go-to, but some people are super into grape. We have a nice fancy strawberry because Melissa likes fancy.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have our miso peanut butter, and that's it. You really want any kind of bread that you feel like, any kind of jelly that's really speaking to you, and you want some peanut butter with your favorite kind of miso mixed in. We used about a cup of peanut butter to maybe 3 tablespoons of miso, but don't be afraid to give it a taste. Taste it,
Yes.
see where you're at.
You
if
should
you want to add more
constantly-
miso, great. If you want to have less, add a little more peanut butter. Always be tasting your food so you can kind of see where your flavors are at.
And like, what do you think about smooth or creamy? What kind of peanut butter should I get?
I think you probably should do creamy for this because the crunchy might kind of rip up the bread since this bread is so soft.
Yeah.
But I also really love crunchy peanut butter. So once again, you can kind of make it your own, which is pretty great.
Hoo-hoo. Can't wait to taste this.
So what we're going to do to build it, we're going to take the 2 pieces of bread. Let's start with one so you can see it better. So we're going to take our 2 slices of bread and we're going to put peanut butter and jelly on these, but we don't want to go all the way out to the edges. We want to leave the edges plain because we're going to seal it and make this like peanut butter and jelly ravioli pocket, if you will. Okay, so to build the sandwich, we lay out 2 of our pieces of milk bread that we rolled out, and I'm going to just tap it with my finger in a little bit of water on the bread. And this kind of acts as almost like a glue for our sandwich, because when we make the little pocket, kind of like you use egg wash when you're making pasta, you want to use a little bit of water for your sandwich. And you want to make sure that when you put the fillings, you don't do the edges so that the edges will stick to each other. So you're going to do a little filling of the strawberry jelly, just a little circle in the middle. And then we're going to take our miso peanut butter. You can also use, if you're not into peanuts, you want to use cashew butter, almond butter, any kind of nut butter you want would be really good with this. You want to get crazy and put Nutella in this, do your thing. We support any kind of creativity you want to get for this. That's the beauty of cooking, is you can get super creative. I'm just going to make sure that it has enough of our little faux glue. Just a little bit of water right around the edges. And you're going to stick it together. Line up the edges as best you can. No bread is perfect. And then I'm going to take a fork, kind of like the old school pasta grannies used to seal their pasta, and really kind of push down nice and hard. Don't be afraid to use a little pressure here. You want to make sure that the edges stay together. Not the end of the world if you have a hole here or there, but it's really fun to have the pocket aspect of this. And once we have it all squished and all put together, it doesn't have to be perfect, don't kill yourself.
No.
Then we're going to go over to the pan and give it a nice toast, and we are minutes away from a really good lunch or dinner or breakfast.
Ooh.
Okay, so we're over here at our stove because we're going to crisp up our peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And this is an extra step. You don't necessarily have to do it, but I think that crispy outside, gooey inside just blows regular peanut butter and jellies out of the water. Since I started doing this, I don't make a regular peanut butter jelly ever. So our butter's nice and melted. We're gonna give it a little swirl. You can kind of hold your hand close to the pan and feel the heat coming off of it, and that's how you know your pan is nice and preheated. So nice and gently, we're gonna put our pocket down in there. This is not something that you're gonna wanna cook and then walk away from. You're really gonna wanna stay here and watch it because it'll go pretty quickly, maybe a minute or 2 per side, and your second side's gonna go pretty quick because your pan will already be hot. And when we wanna make sure if it's done or not, we can kind of just stick the spatula up under that corner, and of course it's not gonna work with me, there we go. And you give it a little peek, and you see what it is. You can see how done you like it. Some people like them super dark. Some people like it just barely blonde. That's okay. Whatever you're feeling, cook it that far. So when we go to flip it, get your spatula all the way underneath the sandwich. Take your other hand and kind of just guide it over. And then just really gently lay it back in the pan. And now this other side doesn't have any butter. So you're going to want to add a tiny little bit more. And then again, take it off the heat. And give it a little swirl, get that butter all distributed. It's delicious. And don't forget, this side's gonna go really quick because the pan is already heated. We can keep doing the corner trick just to make sure we're doing good. It's looking great. If there's any bit of it that's sticking up off the pan, you can kind of push down on it to make sure it's getting contact with the heat. All right, and we are golden. So you're gonna turn your burner off and you're just gonna take it out of the pan and put it off to the side. Let it cool for maybe 30 seconds or a minute, or you'll burn your mouth off or it'll get all gooey and messy. But you do wanna eat this warm. I highly recommend it warm. There's nothing better than that gooey center when it's warm. Okay, Melissa, here we go. Your first peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Wow, this looks amazing.
You ready to try it?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited.
Get in there.
This is buttery, creamy, crunchy.
And gooey in the middle.
Savory and sweet.
The miso really adds to it.
Robin,
It's peanut butter and jelly on a whole nother level. You're gonna be sad if you don't get to try this.
I have to tell you one thing.
What?
You make me so happy. This is delicious.
It's so good.
So everyone, please subscribe to our channel. We have more fun and quirky recipe to share with you. Thank you so much for choosing Cooking Beautifully, where memories are made.
See ya!
Yay.